Hello, and thank you for joining Tales of an Insurance Agent. My name is Sylvester Lane, and I'm over here with Cody Askins.
Hello. Thank you guys for listening. Thanks for joining us.
Our goal is to release one of these once a week to serve you guys, to tell you crazy stories that are happening in the field to us, hopefully to make you laugh, hopefully not to cry, but more importantly, to give you some tips on how to grow your business and advice on how to handle awkward situations.
And those will come up. And that's one of the reasons we started Secure Agent Mentor, because we want to help agents, and that's the purpose of these podcasts. Even a little occasional awkward story every now and then.
And today's is definitely an awkward story. Every agent has one of those appointments that you leave and you're wondering, what the world did I just walk into? Which, we're in a professional business, so you can't really respond the way you would naturally respond in life. I think that everybody would agree with that.
Absolutely. As long as the biggest thing is you'll run into some crazy situations. The key is always just to be positive and to assume that you're going to get the outcome that you expect.
Right, and know when to eat the cookies and not to eat the cookies.
Absolutely.
Because your health is most important.
We've all been offered some crazy food, real quick. This is off topic, totally different story. One of our agents, he used to be a manager of mine. He was offered a meal at an evening appointment. Well, it just turned out, and they even offered him milk and everything else. It turned out, unfortunately, to make a long story short, it was breast milk.
That is the nastiest thing I've probably ever heard. I've never heard that before. I actually used to work with a guy that would just tell people that he was gluten-free. So he'd never have to eat anything. He'd be like, yeah, I'm lactose intolerant and gluten-free. And most of the time, that gets you out of pretty much anything that they want to give you as a baked good.
There's nothing left in the world to eat.
Right. It'd be a sad life. But he really wasn't. But it was the nicest way he could get out of stuff. He just wouldn't eat from anybody that he knew.
That's funny.
What we're going to go over today is actually one of the craziest stories that Cody has ever told me. And sometimes I hear it, and I'm like...
We need to call it the Lady of the Night Sale.
Yep, the Lady of the Night Sale. That's the most appropriate way and nice way to say it. We're not sure, but we're just going to say that she's a Lady of the Night. Cody, explain kind of how you got your appointments back then when you were going to see appointments like that.
Yeah, this was the first month of my career as a full-time life insurance agent. And I got my appointments from hiring college kids, because I was in college. I was playing basketball for the college team, and I had decided about halfway through my college career that I wanted to go full-time in the insurance business. So I would hire college kids to come over and actually cold call and make calls for me.
Now, before we go any further, was that profitable for you? I know there's a lot of agents that are debating doing like a call center or something like that.
What's funny is everything I've ever done, because I've went at it with some drive and some enthusiasm and a positive outlook, everything I've ever done has been a profitable endeavor in the insurance business. And even this, I knew I was 20 years old, 19 or 20, and I knew I needed to my goal was to make $100,000 while I was in college playing basketball and a full-time insurance agent. And I did the numbers, I did the math. If you don't know your numbers, you got to know your numbers. I figured out that I needed to see 10 people a week to make that happen. I had to run 10 appointments a week. So when you're going to college and you're playing basketball and you don't have time to cold call a ton or call a bunch of leads, you don't have any money, what do? I started hiring college kids and bringing them over from the local university, paying them $10 per appointment that they would set, buying them pizza.
Which is a great deal as a college student.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I remember $10 an hour. Whew.
They'd set one or two an hour, and they'd love it. They'd make $10, $15, $20, $30 an hour, and they'd be tickled pink, And I'd buy them pizza. I'd give them iTunes gift cards, Subway. I'd randomly throw cash around. I mean, just a fun way to get them in there and to get them setting some appointments.
I'm about to work for you setting appointments right now. That's how I feel.
I don't do it anymore, but when I did, I'd spend sometimes $80, sometimes $100, sometimes $200 more and more as I started making some money. But in that they would call for between 2 to 4 hours. I'd give them a script. I'd give them a bunch of cold call data list names. I'd give them a telephone. I'd pump them up. I'd give them some motivation, and then they would call for about anywhere from 3 to 4 hours, normally 5 to 9 p.m. Every single Monday night, and they would set anywhere from 10 to 20 appointments for me during that time, and my entire schedule or my entire week would be full. It'd be booked.
Right, and I think the important thing there is that you didn't just have them as a commission-based employee, that you treated them well, you gave them pizza and stuff like that. So even if they didn't make you an appointment and they spent some time, the way they looked at it is, hey, at least I got a free meal, maybe got a gift card out of it, something
and
like that.
They did. I would make sure they always at least got a gift card and some pizza, whether they made money or not.
Right, and that's an important thing, that you're treating the people that are under you with respect and honor, and that they're happy to work for you.
Oh, they loved it. They were back every week. I had a line full of college kids begging to come over because, you know what, at some point I'd start paying better and better. There'd be kids walk out of here with $100 in like 3 or 4 hours.
Man, and that's great money, you know.
After I started making some money, obviously.
Right. Now, when they set the appointments for you, did you require them to collect any information or anything like that?
Back then, I made sure that they verified the name, address, phone number, and age, and that was it. I mean, they read a script that said, hey, this is John from Cody Askins' office. Did I catch you at an okay time? No, John, it's a horrible time. Okay, we'll be very brief. The reason for the call is we have a brand new final expense life insurance product that you're going to love. Would it be okay if we came out Tuesday at 2 o'clock, or would you rather Thursday at 4? I mean, they're going right into it. It's a brief script, and they set appointments pretty well doing that.
Right. And the idea of this is that when you're doing a call center, this isn't our story today, but as we're talking about it, I feel like it's important for us to understand a few key things. When you're doing a call center, you're not giving them your $20 leads. This isn't the leads that you're spending those big dollars on. Literally, they're probably 3-cent leads.
2.9 cents.
2.9 cents. It's in the consistency that we're reading the script. We want the script to sound the same every time, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
And really, it's the number of dials. So if they dial 100 people, likelihood they're going to get 1 or 2, maybe 3 out of that.
Exactly. And you're right on. They're going to get anywhere from 0 to 3. And I would have the great ones would come, the good ones would come back, the great ones would love it, and the average or subpar ones wouldn't. And they kind of weeded themselves out.
Right, and we don't hold that personal, you know.
No, it was awesome. It was a great experience for them. They learned a lot.
Right, and for us, you know, we always like to use the saying, if you can walk by a burning bush and not look back, it ain't for you. So we hold people with loose grips because sometimes it's not for them. Let's go back to, you said pretty much all you're getting is the information that we already have on a 3-cent lead. Yeah. So that probably put you in a couple sticky situations, kind of like the one that we're going to talk about today.
It did.
So you had a college student set up an appointment for you, just had their name. They were on a rougher part of town, kind of. It's if you know anywhere about Springfield, it's becoming nicer, but back then it was a pretty rough part of town.
Certain areas, a little rough. I mean, it's a pretty... Yeah, I mean, it's a friendly Ozarks area, but a laid-back area. But there are a couple of parts that are, we'll just say, aren't as nice as others for whatever reason.
Right, and, you know, you're still excited to go out there because...
Oh, gosh, yeah. This is one of the first appointments I ever ran, and I'm like, at this point, I've got to see 10 people. I want to make $100,000. I'm getting in the house, and I'm making a sale at every house I get to.
Right, so you're driving up. What's going through your mind as you're driving up to their house?
I'm driving up. There's no driveway. It was a really old home, very small home, and I'm just trying to figure out what to do. So I end up parking on the road, and there's no cars either. It looks like no one is home at all. Which, going through your mind at this point... All the windows are boarded up, too.
Right, and going through your mind right now, I'm sure you're like, man, I wasted the gas to come out here. Nobody's going to be home. Now I set apart this hour of my time, which time is the most important thing in the insurance agents.
Yeah.
See, because you're trying to get to see the people.
I get my stuff, as I always do. I always get out of the car quickly. I don't want to like sit out in the car and make it awkward or take forever. I get my stuff. I go straight to the door, and as I'm passing, there's a grocery cart full of beer cans to my right.
Which is always
right
a
by
great
the
setup,
concrete
right?
porch. Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, well, you know what? So, but then I thought, well, somebody lives here, or some homeless person has just been drinking a bunch of beer. I don't know, but so I go up, I knock on the door, and this really big guy comes to the door, like probably 6'6", literally. I mean,
And what's
6'6".
going through your mind, like as you see him, as he opens up the door? You didn't think anybody was going to be home, so you're a little discouraged already.
Yeah, I'm a little. I wouldn't say. I've always been a pretty confident. I used to be cocky. Just a confident individual. It was in the best part of town, and there's this huge dude. I mean, it was a little weird. I mean, and I just assumed he needed some life insurance, and I was the man to do it for him. I mean, I tried to keep a positive outlook at all times.
And when you opened up the door, what was his response to you?
If I can remember back, he probably didn't even know why I was there. Honestly, he'd probably forgot. I mean, because with these cold call names, some appointments would be gold, some appointments would be okay, and some appointments, and the closing percentage is much less because a lot of people forget. A lot of people stand you up. You know, I mean, I bet a 30-40% were just total garbage. But we'd set 15, I'd run 8 or 10, and I'd be happy. You know, so he may not have even remembered. But I reminded him while I was there, and I got in the home. Hey, I'm Cody. I'm with Secure. I told you I'd be here and to talk to you about your final expense life insurance. And we went straight to the couch, about 2 feet, 3 feet inside the door.
Right, and typically, is that your custom place where you like to meet?
Well, I've changed my way since then, and as all agents should. I want to meet at the dining room table if possible.
And what's the benefit of that?
It's a more serious setting. It's more paperwork appropriate. It means that we're not just there to become best friends. You know, we're there, even though I do build a great relationship with my clients. It was the goal was to sit down and properly discuss what we're intending to discuss. It's
right.
just a better atmosphere for selling.
And if someone let's say you come into my house and I'm like, let's sit down at the couches. What are some techniques that you use to sway people over to the table?
A lot of people will actually start to walk towards the living room. And I'm like, if it's okay, I'd love to sit at the dining room table if that's all right with you. You know, and almost like
good.
making it so that they're making the decision, but using it in a positive, respectful question. Really.
Right. That's a great point. I think is honoring them as the house owner,
right?
But still setting yourself up in the position that they can see that it's business.
Exactly.
That we're doing. What happened in the appointment? Describe the next scenes of events where it goes crazy.
I start to kind of warm up, which I quickly find out I need to speed up because literally out of nowhere I hear screams from like a back bedroom.
What?
And then this lady of the night that you keep referring to in her probably, I don't know, 40s, 50s, 60s, just takes off and runs out of the back bedroom, runs into the living room freaking out, and is, for lack of better words and to be respectful and courteous, unclothed from head to toe.
So let me get this straight. So you're at this house that looks pretty much abandoned. Tons of beer cans in the front yard, which when the alcohol thing says how many you drink, 1 or 2 a night, you're already like, that one might be a questionable answer. Knock on the door, this giant guy comes out, 6'6", you know.
Oh, man.
Get in the living room, sit down, think it's going to go smooth, remind him. Next thing you know, and if you're listening, we hope that you understand what a lady of the night would mean.
And I think they will at this next sentence because what I run into is I'm confused and the homeowner is yelling at her to go back to the bedroom because look, I thought it was like maybe one of his friends, we'll call it. But finds out, I learned that his son then comes running out soon after her, and he's actually clothed, but he's yelling. I won't get into what they say or what they do. Or
Right.
like that, but he's just yelling. She's yelling she wants to be paid, and he doesn't want to pay her. So we'll leave it at that.
So in the middle of your insurance appointment,
one of my first appointments ever.
there's this lady of the night that is not clothed, screaming outside, and then this other dude burst out, which you have no idea when you're walking in the house.
No, and at this point, I'm getting a little. I'm a little bit of fear. It's extremely awkward, but it's becoming a little scary. It really is.
Right.
And I'm like, okay. In my mind, I'm thinking, because in my mind, I always want to be a step or two in front of the prospect in my thought process and what I'm thinking, what I want to do. At this point, I'm thinking, I think I should start to just. I've got two options. I either tell them we'll reschedule and I leave within seconds. But that doesn't make me any money. That doesn't make for such a great story.
Right.
Or I do what Cody does and I run a very fast appointment, sell him the product he wants, and I leave.
Right. And for you listening, keep in mind that he's only 20 years old. So we're not talking about somebody in their 30s or 40s, a grown man. You're talking about somebody that was living with his parents 2 years ago, and went to a Christian Bible college.
Yeah.
Keep in mind. And now he's in this situation with a naked lady talking about how she wants to get paid, and a son yelling at her, and a guy he's trying to sell insurance with.
It's a gross setting for anyone trying to vividly imagine this. Not that you should, but it's a gross, awkward setting.
So you already alluded to what happened, but you picked up the pace of your sales. How did that go for you?
I actually immediately stopped warming up and transitioned to, what do you want? And he wants to cover enough to cover final expenses. Okay, it's $10,000. It's $45 a month. I think you should do it.
Right, and part of that confidence is actually like nervousness because of the situation you're in.
Yeah, it almost speeds you up into like a quick closing. I mean,
right, so you're just like...
Who closes in like within 30 seconds of pitching? I mean, how weird is that?
And this is one of those appointments where you're like, I don't do callbacks. We all want to have the courage.
Which I hadn't used a ton. But to my surprise, I told him, hey, you need it, you want it, you can afford it, as Brian Tracy had taught me through some audiobooks, The Art of Closing the Sale. You're welcome, Mr. Tracy. And we get into, I just pull out the paperwork and I say, hey, you need it, you want it, you can afford it. I recommend we do it.
And what did he do?
He said, okay. And so I briefly got his name, date of birth, address, phone number, social, beneficiaries, bank information, and sign here. Within 7 minutes of pitching, I've got a completed application. Literally.
Right. So I'm sure you stood up, excused yourself from the situation.
I did. Thank you very much for your business. Your policy will be in the mail within the next 1 to 2 weeks. I look forward to being your agent for many years to come. Would there be any reason why you wouldn't keep this for the rest of your life? That's my confirming, closing, ending question. I normally go, because I normally wrap up. I normally warm up, fact find, build some value, close, and then cool down.
Right.
There's no cool down. I mean, it was...
Right,
I was cooling down in the car.
You really can't thank them for their house that's boarded up and what a lovely shopping cart full of beer cans you have out front,
And from this gentleman's son and from the lady of the night, it was there was a lot of screaming, a lot of yelling, a lot of cursing, and it got worse and worse. It really did.
Oh, wow.
To where eventually the son ends up kicking her out.
Wow.
Unclothed. As soon as I'm pulling off, he's kicking her out. With no clothes on. Probably unpaid.
Wow. That's crazy. So as you're in the car, like now we're a block down the road, you're driving down, you're pumped because you got a sale, and that's a great story.
Right.
But what's going through your mind, really? Like as you get in that car, as you're like sitting there?
I mean, kind of my afterthoughts is one thing I always do when I get back in my car after an appointment, even still to this day with my agents, is I use that as a time to think about what we did and think about how that appointment went and what I could have improved on, what went well, what didn't go well, what questions I could have asked or what I should have done. And so I'm in the car thinking about how the frick did I get a sale out of that? And what possessed me to stay in that home and try to make a sale.
Yeah,
I'm just like,
that's crazy.
I hope it sticks.
Right. Well, thank you so much, Cody, for not only telling us your story, but giving us the value you did. Sticking out an appointment when, even though it might seem uncomfortable. Now, let's throw out a disclaimer. By no means, if you feel like your life is in danger, is a policy worth your life. Never, ever, ever. But sometimes in your gut, in your spirit, you just know that it's going to end out the right way.
You have an idea.
So it's worth sticking out. This is Tales of an Insurance Agent. Sylvester Lane with Cody Askins. We thank you guys for joining us every week. Like us on Facebook at Secure Agent Mentor. Like us on Twitter at Secure Agent Mentor. Our Cody's Snapchat, CAskins90. He's doing big things over there. Follow his life. Follow his trends. See what's making him successful. And subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yeah, absolutely. Please click subscribe. And you know what? If anyone feels like we bring any value to them at all, what should they do, Sylvester?
Yeah, we have several ways you can get in contact with us. Go to our Facebook page. It has our local number on it. Give us a call. We'll take time out of our day, sit down. If you're local, hey, we'll go out to eat. We're both foodies, so we know great food. You're not going to go to McDonald's. We're going to take you out somewhere nice and just see where your heart and your vision is and to make sure that you fit with us. We don't believe in wasting people's time. And if we're not the best fit for you, we'll point you in the direction of the best fit for you.
No question.
Because we want to see you succeed above everything over here at Secure Agent Mentor. You can go to our website. We actually have a contact page on our website that you can go and ask questions. We have live chat. You can message us, get our information that way. You can comment below. Throw out the comments. We do look at them. We'll talk to you. We'll give you our numbers, our email addresses, all of those great things to help you with that. But that's it. Thank you for joining us this week. The Lady of the Night. It's probably one of the craziest stories I've ever heard. And we'll have another one next week of, I don't know if it'll be the same standard. I don't know if it'll be a happy-go-lucky or a sad one.
I don't know what the story will be yet. I really don't.
But I'm sure we'll figure it out. Thank you. Have an amazing week. Finish the week strong. It's the middle of the week. Get out there and work when nobody else is working so you can live like nobody else can live. Thank you and have a great day. Bye-bye.